because, hello, Facebook. I'm sorry about earlier. Okay, so I think that Facebook have changed their settings. So we had another bit of a mishap yesterday. You may remember me saying that I'd gone live on Facebook and there was just an empty chair because I was setting up. Well, it happened again today. I was setting up about 10 minutes ago, and normally I can kind of set it up. So all I have to do is press the button to go live. So it kind of gives you a bit of, I don't know, what I guess a setup time, doesn't it? But anyway, they must have changed the settings, because now when I do that the last couple of times, it just goes straight on. It goes, right, okay, here you are, you're live. And I'm going, no, I'm not live, I'm not ready. And I tell you why I'm not ready, because I had to go and make my coconut turmeric latte. Can you see that in there? I made it in the milk frother again. I just felt this morning that I needed a bit of comforting. And this is it's like a hug in a mug. I really, really love it. It comes from my yearbook too. Those of you who haven't seen this, it's page 214. And yeah, you can see there's Lily and I drinking it. And we were having it on a cold day here at the farm when that picture was taken. And it is cold and grey today. So I've had to shut the window and hope it doesn't look too grey and dreary out there. It was pouring with rain this morning. That has stopped, and I think the sun is just feebly trying to shine, but the wind is blowing. So anyway, if you want to make this, you use milk. The recipe actually calls for coconut rice milk, but you can use any old milk. I've used just plain organic whole milk, turmeric, a little bit of honey, some black pepper, and that helps to activate the turmeric, and a little bit of coconut oil that gives it that sort of sweet smoothness. Now, I didn't actually, when I made this just now, I didn't use the black pepper. And you may remember that when I made it live on one of my demos, I was drinking it and it was making me cough. And that's because for some people, freshly ground black pepper just seems to catch at the back of the throat. And apparently that's a genetic thing. So when I mentioned that, I had several comments from people saying, oh yeah, that happens to me too. So I will add some black pepper a bit later, but I thought it would be a bit mad, wouldn't it, to start drinking a peppery drink just before doing this, where it's just me chatting. So what am I going to chat about today? Well, lots of good things. Firstly, hi to Ellie. So Ellie is a name that you may well have seen in my magazine, Ellie Smith. She's the most brilliant writer and part of my team, has been with me for a while now, and a super digital whiz. She's been helping with all my lovely e-guides. We've got a really great new e-guide coming soon. I'm going to talk about that on Monday. But yeah, you will have seen her on the masthead here, Ellie Smith. That's her name. And she's my senior health and beauty writer. And Amy is off today. Amy's taken Saturday off, honestly. Really, some people. So I hope you're having a lovely time, Amy. And Ellie has stepped into Facebook. So thank you very much, Ellie. Really nice to have you with me. And I know that you're going to find it super fun connecting with everybody there. And then what Ellie does is she basically connects with me through an electronic wizardry here. So I can see comments and questions as they come in real time, because otherwise I get distracted if I have too many questions and things coming in there. But it's lovely to see everybody. Thank you. Thanks for saying hello. Chat's here about the podcast. Morning, Marion. Morning, Victoria. Hi. So, yeah, the podcast. So we went live with a new podcast yesterday. It's all about histamine, and we've written about it actually in the new issue, which is coming out next week. And I just decided that even though we are not in a season of podcasts, the season 8, can you believe it, season 8, that will actually start in September. So we're beginning to think about going back into the studios now to record it. But I really wanted to do a kind of a one-off, because we had so much interest in the whole subject of histamine, and especially linking histamine with migraine and fibromyalgia and long-term pain and tiredness and all of that. So Ellie brilliantly has written a piece for the magazine, which will be out next week. And then as part of that, I wanted to talk to Dr. Tina Piers, who is really, I think, probably one of the leading experts in this country, because her own daughter went through years and years of really acute chronic pain and difficulties, and I think a lot of these hard to diagnose conditions, they get put down as ME or fibromyalgia, which just kind of is pain, Obviously, my Lily, her journey with migraine, and for the last 2 years, which we're still not have yet to resolve, but we're hopeful that this whole histamine connection and its link with our mast cells, and mast cells are part of our immune system, and there's this really interesting connection between histamine and mast cells and also estrogen. Yes, our old friend estrogen pops its little head up again just when we think we might be getting back on track with our hormones or with our health or our well-being. Some other little biochemical thing comes up and potentially upsets us. So it's kind of hard to unravel. It's like a big tangled ball of string. And even top endocrinologists who specialise in hormones find it tricky to pull out all these different threads and see what is causing what. But I wanted to investigate it, so I did this podcast with Dr. Tina, who's also treating Lily now, and yeah, it's fascinating. So anyway, thank you very much for your comment about that. Yeah, Michelle here has commented on Instagram. So interesting hearing about Dr. Pierce's story. Very brave lady. Yeah, I mean, and what's fascinating with her is that she also had breast cancer and is very passionately in favour of HRT and is on HRT and counsels a lot of women. So I kind of threw that in at the end of the podcast. I thought I can't possibly have this amazing medic here just talking about histamine and mast cells and immunity and all of that, and also know a bit more of her own personal journey. So at the end of the interview, I said, do you mind sharing a little bit about your personal experience with menopause and HRT and breast cancer? So really fascinating. Those of you who want to know more actually about HRT and breast cancer, I've got 2 really good podcasts. Ellie, this is a challenge for you. Can you find them on the website? You can find the links. I recorded them with Professor Michael Baum, who's a leading breast cancer oncologist. He was the lead surgeon at the Royal Marsden. He was the lead on the tamoxifen trial, so he's super eminent. He lectures all over the world about breast cancer, passionately in favour of HRT for women, even those with breast cancer, or actually especially those recovering from breast cancer. So really interesting. So yeah, if you've got some time this wet weekend, I have got lots of things for you. I've got lots of podcasts you can listen to while you're in the kitchen or chatting or driving. Perhaps you're going out to see somebody, connect with your bubble. There's lots that you can do. I've also got some craft ideas which I'm going to share with you. But before I get into that, while we're still on the subject here of HRT, just a quick little update. Lots of continuing chat. And I kind of don't almost want to go there talking about estradiol and estrogel, because I know that if I do, I'm just going to get so angry, because the reports are flooding in now about the ineffectiveness of estradiol and the fact that many women will be prescribed estrogel. They'll actually be given estradiol, which is a parallel import, but it will be over-labelled. So you actually have to peel off your label to see what is in the pack. I mean, that is how that can have been sanctioned by somebody. I simply don't understand it. So if you've got estrogel, so this is my estrogel, it's all mine. No, I'm happy to give links of where to share. Actually, some of the online pharmacies, I know people have written to say, I can't get my patches, I can't, find, where do I find estrogel? If you can use an online pharmacy, but of course you must specify. They can only give you estrogel until we've got to the bottom of this. But if you've got estradiol, you can peel off the label. And if you've just got a plain white pack like that, then you're absolutely fine. You know that you've got the real deal. But underneath the label, and there have been lots of pictures on Instagram popping up of people who peel back the label to find that it is actually estradiol. Those of you who don't know what the heck I'm talking about, you have missed a lot this week that's been going on. So do check out my Instagram, check back on the Facebook stories where we've been talking about it. You can also go to the Manchester Menopause Hive. This is the Instagram and Facebook account of Dr. Zoe Hodson, who's a menopause GP and specialist, and she was the one who first uncovered it. And she posted on her Instagram only a few days ago, seems like weeks ago, because so much, I've just had this torrent of information just coming at me, like a tsunami of comments of women saying, oh my goodness, I don't believe it, I've got estradiol. and it's not working. I thought it was just me. I thought I was going mad. I thought I wasn't sleeping well because of lockdown. I thought that my anxiety levels were high. I thought my joints were achy because I was tired or whatever. I was rubbing on more gel, thinking, maybe I need to increase the dose. And anyway, so Bestins Healthcare, who are the manufacturers, they have been alerted. We've also been in touch with the MHRA. I have emailed them. I've also had an email back from Bestins to say that they're looking into it. Interesting. Wonder how many hours, days, weeks, months that will take, because I do know for a fact that it was first reported to them in writing in 2014 and we're now 2020. So anyway, so long story short, if you are affected by this, do please have a look back, read online about it, look at the Manchester Menopause Hive Facebook and Instagram. Please share it with your girlfriends, share it with anybody you know, mothers, sisters, friends, colleagues who you think may be affected by this issue. If you're affected, you need to fill in the yellow card and report it to the MHRA. That's the Medicines Control Agency, because they have powers to recall and to question products. So you download it. It's an app. It's a super simple app, actually. I was really interested to get it generally because it's a very useful app about medicines and prescribing. So you download the Yellow Card app. It's just called Yellow Card. It's got yellow little kind of dots on it. And it's from the MHRA, which is the Medicines Regulatory Authority. And then you just put in your details, your symptoms. It'll probably ask you for the batch number of the product that we're talking about. And I know for a fact that there have been scores, possibly hundreds, possibly even thousands of reports. So please keep them coming. It's really, really important that we do this because women are being so disadvantaged. A couple of questions here. Thank you very much, Ellie, for passing them on to me, saying, is there a cut-off time-wise from when one can commence HRT? That's from Claire on Instagram. It's generally much easier before the age of 60. So 60 is when the NICE guidelines kind of blur a bit. Before you're at the age of 60, it should be straightforward. Beyond the age of 60, it's probably better to see a doctor who really knows about menopause and understands it and has been trained, or a menopause specialist. My mother, and she's really happy with me to share this, she's 81 and she's gone back onto HRT. She took it in her, 50s, 60s, came off it because her doctor said, oh, you don't need this anymore, love, let's get you off it. Didn't feel so great, has gone back on and, has got all the health protection. But I'm hoping that, when I say all the health protection, I hope that she's certainly getting some more health protection. The statistics show that the earlier you start HRT, the better. So the more protected you are. Your bones are better protected from osteoporosis. Your heart is better protected from coronary heart disease. Potentially your brain is better protected from Alzheimer's. Fascinating work going on with the neuroscientist Dr. Lisa Mosconi over in New York. And I know she recorded a podcast recently with Dr. Louise Newson. And it's talking all about really why there are twice as many women who get Alzheimer's as men, and that was what started her thinking, well, why should it be? Why should women be more affected by Alzheimer's and dementia? And is there a hormonal connection? So very, very interesting. So yeah, there is no upper limit, but you may well need to have a doctor who understands that. If you want to know about how to talk to your doctor and the facts and figures and what to say, I've got a very good e-guide, which Ellie, my lovely health and beauty editor, helped me put together. And that's online. You can download it. And I think it's $4.99 for the download. And I've had so many comments, honestly, since we put it live, saying this is the best $4.99 I have ever spent. It's got links in there to the NICE guidelines. It tells you how to talk to your doctor, what kind of symptoms to recognise, everything from tinnitus to dry eyes to burning mouth to, all the obvious ones, hot flushes and night sweats and all of that. And of course the mental side, the anxiety and the low mood and the flatness, the lack of joy that comes when we lose our estrogen. Anyway, I'm not here to talk about estrogen, okay? You guys, you always do it, don't you? It just, I sit down and I think, all right, I'm going to talk about craft kits. I've got some chocolate. I've got some lovely recipes. I want to show you my new favourite fragrance. Oh my goodness. And I've got us a deal. So I'm so excited to tell you about that. Anyway, very quickly. Oh, it's another HRT question. Okay, very, very quickly. This is from Helen saying, I'll be 53 this year, still having heavy periods, but hot flushes, aches, pains, body feel like going through panic. I've been on, that looks like an antidepressant drug. Is this right? Do I ask for HRT or have blood tests? I'm going potty. Oh, Helen, please download my download. The Truth About HRT. You can also download the guide to the menopause as well. In fact, I think there's a double pack. There's a special deal if you get both of them together. So if you're not well up on the menopause and it sounds as if you might need a bit of help, because all these are classic symptoms of menopause. Once you're over the age of 45, you don't need a blood test. Okay, your GP should diagnose you on your symptoms and in fact should not give you a blood test. And the reason for that, and the reason why blood tests are so worthless really, is that our blood hormone levels change. They change day by day. They are different in the morning from the evening. They change week by week. So if anybody says to you, oh, I'm going to do a lovely blood test or a saliva test or a pinprick test or whatever, please save your money, because the results that you get today will not be the same as the results you get next Wednesday. So what's the point? You need to go on symptoms, and the NICE guidelines are very clear on that. Before the age of 45, there is an argument that actually they're quite useful to see baseline and that kind of thing, but beyond 45, you just need to talk to your doctor. So definitely, so many doctors give antidepressants for menopause, low mood and anxiety, and they don't help that because it's caused by loss of estrogen. So your antidepressants won't replace your estrogen, they'll just numb you. But if you want to replace your estrogen so that your mood lifts, then obviously you need the estrogen. But of course we need the right estrogen, don't we? No good getting estradiol if that's not going to have the effect. So estradiol. So very other quick question on that, talking about parallel imports. And that's from Jill saying, can you remind us what non-PI stands for regarding estradiol? I'm on the case. Well done, Jill. So basically the issue is that you can get a company that make two supposedly identical products, supposed to be the same, but they may make them in different factories, but they're regulated, they're supposed to have the same active ingredient, they're supposed to say the same thing on the label, but in some cases they can vary, and they're often cheaper because they might make them in a country where manufacturing is cheaper, labour costs are lower, for example. And so when you get your prescription from your GP, if you're being prescribed estrogel, the best way to get it is to specify estrogel, because that's the actual name of the product, rather than just an estradiol, which is the generic name for a hormone, and then put on it as extra backup, no PI, and that stands for no parallel imports. Now, GPs are quite reluctant to do this in many cases because it means that you can't get the cheaper option. So, of course, it all comes down to money, doesn't it, at the end? So if you've got no PI on your prescription, the pharmacist should look at it, and I know this hasn't happened in many cases, because, again, I've had comments on this too, should look at it and go, oh, right, okay, so you've got to have the real thing. You've got to have estrogel. I can't go and give you the parallel import, which is estradiol. Problem is some pharmacists don't know because they've been over-labelled. So Bessin's Healthcare have stuck estrogel stickers over the estradiol bottles. It's completely legal, but we need to report it because it's not working. Okay, so anyway, that is just a very quick explanation of what no PI means in terms of parallel imports and why it can be important to be aware of it with any medication, actually, no matter what you're taking. If you are given something that's not quite the same as you had before, it might be in a different pack, it might have foreign literature in it, for example, because it's come in from another country, and you find that it's not working as well for you, please report it. Please pop it on the Yellow Card app and say, this is a parallel import and it's not helping my symptoms in the same way. Anyway, that is it now, except to say one more here. Have you got any advice on heart health? And that's for Denise. Well, just to finish off the HRT story there, did you know that HRT cuts a woman's risk of heart disease by 52%? These are randomised controlled trials, Cochrane studies. 52% you can cut your risk by replacing your estrogen. Anyway, I'm going to move on now and talk about different things. I put on my Instagram this morning, those of you who follow me, a picture of this lovely thing. This is the summer magazine issue from 2018, so it's 2 years. It's got 35 amazing summer recipes in it. It is absolutely jam-packed and lots of beautiful pictures It's also got a great piece here about HRT, and it's also got a lovely pictures, my favourite pictures of my visit to Giraffe Manor in Nairobi, where I went with the team. And we talk about lots of summer things. There's a really interesting feature here about how to whiten your teeth. If you want to get your teeth looking whiter. Lots on skincare, lots on sun care. It's just a nice magazine. And I found a couple of boxes down here at the farm. So I've put them on Linktree. They're on the website. I know, Ellie, you'll put a link up on Facebook if you want to get this. I haven't got that many, so that's just a word of warning, but I just thought they were too good to keep sat in a box, because the recipes alone, I mean, that's almost a book, isn't it? 35 recipes in one magazine. That is a lot, and it was a real bumper issue. And this, oh my goodness, I've just opened the page here. Vanilla Victoria sponge with peach and rose. So this is a beautiful sponge made with rose water. Oh, I am so baking this afternoon. So anyway, just a few of those just to let you know. We don't have any single copies left of the current issue. If you're out and about in the shops this weekend or next week, you can look for this. It's only on sale for the next few days, and then it disappears because, yes, drum roll, we've got the new one, which will be hitting the shelves any day. These are the covers. These are just the proof covers that I've got that have come in. So if you're a subscriber, that's the cover that you'll be getting. So I'm sitting here with a cat, lovely cat in Lamu. This was shot in Kenya. So that's the one that will be pinging its way through the post, landing on your doormat. I hope you love it. And then if you're in the shops, probably towards the end of next week, this is the retail version. So this is the retail version. We have to make a lot of noise in retail, so we have to cover it in cover lines telling everybody what's inside, because we're kind of fighting for space with all the other magazines, but inside it's exactly the same. And I do have news, because we are going to actually come out of retail. So we're going to become subscription only. We're still going to stay in print, because that's really important. But we're not going to be in retail. And the reasons for that is, when lockdown happened, it was very, very difficult for us as a small business, because we had printed tens of thousands of copies of the magazine, and they were just stuck in warehouses for a couple of months. And then, of course, they're out of date, and then they go off and they get pulped, which is just tragic. And we've been feeling a long time that actually retail, there's a lot of wastage in retail. A lot of the big retailers, they make us send in 3 or 4 times as many copies as they know they're going to sell. So the costs are very high for a small business, and the waste is just, it's not sustainable, I don't think. I would rather have subscribers, and, you know, if I've got 10 subscribers, I can say to the printer, right, I need 10 copies, and then that's it. Maybe a few extra to, you know, kind of provide a few more along the way, but not tens of thousands. It's not good. It's not good. So we've been thinking about that for a while, and I guess this lockdown and this kind of just disaster that happened for so many companies in retail, with people not being able to have access to shops. And obviously when you've got a product like a magazine, it's time sensitive. You know, it's not like a beautiful dress that can sit on the hanging rail and then you can go and sell it later on. You know, for us, it is time sensitive. So just to say, in the future, this magazine will stay on the shelves in retail for a couple of months. So, you know, don't panic. But after that, if you want to get the one for the autumn, you are going to have to be a subscriber. So we're going to be doing lots of different offers and deals and things like that to try and make it easy for people. But I just wanted to throw it out there now and let you know about it. Anyway, let me know what you think of the new copy when it arrives. This is the one that will arrive. Big thank you to Sandy in Lamu. She let us take this beautiful picture there in her courtyard, and this is her pussycat. Lots of cats in Lamu. There's a whole book's been written about cats in Lamu. They're supposed to date back, the cats of Lamu are supposed to date back to the original Egyptian cats that the pharaohs used to keep. And there was some connection. I think maybe there were Egyptian traders that sailed down in their dhow boats from Egypt, and the cats came with them and they stayed in Lamu. And so all the descendants now, and they're very small with little pointy ears, and, you know, look them up online. It's a fun story, the cats of Lamu. So I am going to talk today about a couple of things. One is crafting. There's just such lovely crafty things to do at the moment, aren't there? I know lots of you have enjoyed making the candles from True Grace. Don't forget there's a 10% discount. And we love True Grace. And, you know, I have always loved them as a family British-run brand, doing things really well. They've been going for about 20 years. They produce candles and room fragrances and beautiful glycerine soaps and also lovely hand creams, all of that. And actually, they have really stepped up here. At the moment, you get a free neroli hand cream. So neroli, like my necklace, you get the free neroli hand cream with every order, which is so nice. And you get your discount as well. So that's one of the things. And we actually wrote about lots of craft ideas on the Earle Wellbeing website. So if you are at a loose end this weekend, so that's the piece of copy. Oh, my lights are reflected in there. And it's called our favourite DIY craft kits. So you'll find it online. And there are lots of them with discount codes. So if you want to get engaged, and also with the summer holidays coming up, you know, if your kids have been lucky enough to be back at school, they'll suddenly be back home again, or maybe they never went away. Maybe you need to find things to do which don't involve a screen. So the first one, which I've got here actually, which I'm going to show you in person, this is the bespoke jewellery making kit. It's by a company called Cast, and that was founded by a pair of Birmingham-based silversmiths, and you can cast your own jewellery at home. It's really fun. I'm going to show you how to do it. It's quite time-consuming, but it's quite nice. It's quite kind of therapeutic because you carve the wax and you make your shape. So this is, and they have workshops as well that you can join into online. So we've got 15% off them if you use Liz Loves, and that's at Cast. So I'll show you that in just a second. Then there's the candle making kit on True Grace. So, and you get 10% off all your orders there. So not just the candle making kit. There's the ultimate cheese making kit. Doesn't that sound fun? You fancy making cheese? So that comes from, who does that come from? The Big Cheese Making Kit website. Oh, well, there you go. And that again, you can get 15% off if you use Liz Loves. So quite fancy that one. Then there's the Potheads Postal Pottery Kit. And again, there's a voucher for that. That's a Bristol-based community. And then there's the Conscious Craft Original Den Kit. Build your own ethical outdoor woodland den. And then last but not least, there's the Craftacular Plastic-Free Wildlife Garden Kit. Really fun. Really, really fun. And so anyway, so this is a new article that we've put up. I don't know whether you can see it really, but I can just hopefully scroll through. Is that going to work? Yeah, you can just see some of these craft ideas here. So do take a look. And I think definitely great present ideas, actually. You know, I know kids are really tricky to buy for. I mean, loads of people are tricky to buy for, aren't they? But, you know, with a craft kit, there's obviously something here for all ages. So let me show you the jewellery making one, because this was the one that was produced from these guys in Birmingham. It says on here, learn the rules like a pro so you can break them like an artist. Excellent. And it comes in this beautiful box, bespoke jewellery making kit. And if you open this up, a little booklet inside that says you're more creative than you think. Well, that's good. And beautifully done, I have to say, the literature and all of that. And there's a little guide that comes with it, tells you all about how to do it step by step. And then a little note from the founders there. Brilliant. Creativity is allowing yourself to make mistakes. Art is knowing which ones to keep. Very good. And yeah, so all that gives you access to the maker's table at Craft. And so inside here, a little bit of sandpaper. I was doing this yesterday. You can see where I've been rubbing it down. So this is what you get. So you get all this with your waxes so that you can obviously have all your tools. Whoops, this is the blue stuff is the wax in here. So I was doing this yesterday, so I've got my bits and pieces. So this is my ring size here that you can then carve out of. So this is one I made earlier. This is my blue ring. I quite fancy this in blue. And anyway, I carved this away, you can see, and then it can get cast in silver. So you then send it off once you've done your your casting. And the reason I've got a little candle here is that you melt the wax over a candle flame. And then, so it's obviously not for young kids. You need a bit of supervision. This is more of a grown-up thing to do. But you get all the little bits and pieces to hold it with. You get all your special, waxing, crafting tools. Lots of ideas online as to what you can make. You can make somebody something really special. I think that's just such a fun thing. It takes quite a bit of time, so it's really nice. It's something that's quite therapeutic. You need a few hours just set aside just to calmly do something, and then they give you a little tin that you can post it in, and then they cast it for you. So, but I actually quite like it in blue. I know it probably wouldn't last very long. I just think it's rather nice. Matches my blue. It's a Lavender Hill. I've talked about them before. Another really nice British ethical fashion brand, Lavender Hill clothing. And again, we've got Liz Loves discount on there if you want to go and check them out. I've had this for years. It's one of their classic designs. It's a crossover wrap. It's really comfortable because it's bamboo. So if you are somebody who's sometimes feeling a bit hot and bothered, then bamboo is great because it's really comfortable, and it's clever clothing because it keeps you cool in the summer and it keeps you warm in the winter. Not quite sure how it does that, but there you are, it does. So it's a good year-round piece. I'm actually wearing it with this skirt, which is a Marks & Spencer's one, which I've shown you before. I think it's still in stock. We've got links on Linktree. It's the one that has the stitched, so it looks like it's a wraparound, but actually it's stitched. So it means you never get caught out in a gale. I mean, I love wraparounds. You know me and my, wraparound dresses and all of that. I do love them, but they're not too practical. And, you can suddenly find yourself, sitting down or, getting into a car or something and just bit of a flash moment going on. So I quite like this design because it looks like a wrap, but it is stitched. Anyway, this is cast. So great. Thank you very much, guys. You gave us a load of kits to review and write about online, which we have done. So thank you for sending me this one. And don't forget that you can get your discount there with Liz Loves if you want to check them out. So head over to the Liz Earle Wellbeing website and take a look, because there are some really fun ideas. And you might just want to, save them for later. If you've got, Christmas presents, birthdays, that kind of thing coming up. And of course, you could always buy them with your discount, couldn't you? And then keep them for later on. So, talking about buying things with discount, I am really excited to share this with you. Now, I've been talking a lot of this week about neroli, and I did that because we have got a 50% sale on the little neroli necklace that I'm wearing. And neroli, as I've mentioned before, I just love it because it's such a pretty flower. It's very, very delicate, and it has a sweet floral smell, but it's a bit citrusy, so it's quite refreshing. And I've used it for years. I'm still realising I'm wearing my ring. I better take that off, hadn't I? Otherwise I'll forget to send it off to get cast. There we go. I'll show it to you when it comes back, you can see. So neroli is one of my favourites, and yesterday I shared with you this beautiful oil, the neroli body oil from Earle Spa, or Isla Spa, I'm never quite sure how to pronounce it. They've given us a discount, they've given us 15%, which is lovely. It's a beautiful, beautiful oil. It's rosehip, lots of vitamin E, and all natural and scented with the neroli, and it's heaven. I love it. I've been using it on my legs, particularly my legs get really dry and flaky, and now that we're going to be showing them off a bit more, perhaps in the summer, using something like a natural oil is just so nice. So neroli is always top of my list when it comes to fragrances. This one actually is, I've just seen this here, this is the little True Grace neroli soap with its little embossed logo. So pretty. Oh, I love it. It makes me actually want to go and wash my hands. My hands, it's like such a chore, isn't it, having to wash our hands all the time? But if you've got this little bar of soap, it just makes it a pleasurable experience. So anyway, a new brand came onto my radar for fragrances not that long ago called Prosody. And they're only available online, and I think it's Fortnum & Mason's in London. So, that really uber smart store, which is amazing to go to. I mean, when we're allowed back out shopping properly, in fact, we can go to Fortnum & Mason's, can't we? It would be lovely just to go and snoop around in there because they always have such beautiful things. The food hall on the basement and ground floor of Fortnum & Mason's is just something else. Anyway, they also have a very good fragrance department. It's small and it's got amazing selection of unusual things, a bit like Liberty's. Liberty's also has a very good fragrance department. And this British brand is very unusual because it is almost, well, it's all natural. It's 100% natural, which is really rare. I mean, I'm not sure who else does fine fragrance. We're not talking about mixing aromatherapy oils together. This is fine fragrance, 100% natural, 99% organic, vegan, you know, you name it. It ticks a lot of boxes for a lot of people. So they contacted me and they sent me these little sample bottles to try. And they've got these little discovery kits where you can go onto their website and you can choose 4 of the fragrances that you might like. And then you get these little bottles, which are just so fabulous because A, they're really good to try. Oops, can't take them out here. Let me take this box out. Really good to be able to try, obviously, properly. But then, of course, you've got your little files that you can travel with and keep in your bag, and they are super concentrated. So the one that caught my eye is this one called Neroli Nuance, and oh my goodness, I sprayed it on and it was like love at first smell. And this is my new best friend in terms of fragrance. We've got a 20% discount with them. You can get these discovery kits. I think they're £28 and you can choose. So this one has got linden blossom, rose, jonquille and the neroli. But I think you can choose from memory looking at the website. They've also got unisex fragrances. I mean, have a look at their website after this. It's Prosody. I know, thank you very much, Ellie, that you've put the link up online. So I then contacted them and said, look, you know, this is just amazing. Your fragrances are exceptional. I mean, really, really exceptional. And that's not a word that I use very often about many things. And so they sent me this one because I said I'd be talking about neroli. So I'm hugely thankful for this. But I just want to show it to you. So once you've bought your little discoveries, you can then decide, you know, which one you might like to go and buy a full size of, also with a 20% discount, which is very handy. So it comes in this beautiful box. And you open up the box. This is the Neroli Nuance. Look at that. So pretty. You just know that you're getting something that is incredibly high quality and well made. It tells you all about it. This says, in a dream you bathe under snowy cascades of orange blossom. I love that. I love the flowery language of perfumery. It's like poetry, isn't it? A little bit hard to read in this light. Skin vibrant with the fine, clean kiss of neroli, a rousing accord of grapefruit and pomelo warms your heart and your pulse rises sharply. Hibiscus envelops this euphoria in musky serenity. Did you only dream it? No, you didn't, because it's here in the bottle. And it is, honestly, this is one of those moments when I really wish that we could smell. So yeah, that's, I mean, look at the colour of that. It's just extraordinary. And I have worn this since they sent it to me. And I walk into a room and people go, wow, you smell amazing. And I say, yes, I know. Anyway, now you will all smell the same. So, but actually fragrance smells differently on different people because of our skin pH and acidity, and you may not like it. So, you know, that's the great thing about getting the little 4, isn't it? That you can choose, you can, you know, select which ones you like the sound of. You might be more of a sort of woody, musky type person, or you might be more of a lighter floral, or you might love your roses or whatever. Anyway, I was just really excited. I don't often give such a heartfelt shout out, but looking at what they're doing and the way that they were making things and the finished product, I thought, yeah, you guys are a bit special. So thank you, Prosody. Wish you lots of luck with your brand. I think it's great, and I'm very pleased personally to have discovered you. So I think that's about it. One last thing, actually. This is just a quick last chance. I know many of us love chocolate and have been enjoying the chocolate tastings that have been happening with Fire Tree. So this is your last chance today, I think, to order if you wanted it. This is their chocolate kit, which the tasting is coming up on the 2nd of July, so not long, at 8 o'clock. These are the tasting notes. 4 bars of chocolate, the different estate chocolates, all from the South Sea Islands, and you get your virtual tasting sheet here with the notes, and then you basically you get a link to join the online masterclass for chocolate tasting, which would be a lot of fun. And you get 10% off your event and also on any of the chocolate that you want to buy. I am going to love you and leave you, say goodbye. I'm going to finish the rest of my turmeric coconut latte. Oh, still slightly warm. Lovely. Don't forget that recipe comes from Earle Wellbeing Yearbook 2, and I've got lots to sign this weekend, so I should be busy doing that. I have got my day off tomorrow, but I will be back with you on Monday. Now, Monday news, I am going to be back on this morning with Holly and Phil. So I'm going to be setting up in my kitchen, and I'm going to be talking all about kefir. Yes. What do you think they're going to make of that? Can you imagine Phil's face when I get him to taste kefir? So basically, I'm going to be doing it at home in my kitchen. We're going to split the screen, and then they've got the same things in the studio, so I'll kind of be talking them through it and seeing what they think. And then I thought I'd just keep that set up actually for when I do my Facebook and Instagram live on Monday. So I'll do a bit more with kefir. I won't just do the basic making of kefir, because you guys know all about that. So I'll just touch on that. But then I've got some great kefir recipes. I'm going to be trying some out this weekend. I've got recipes online actually for things like kefir muffins and kefir ice cream and things. So I thought I'd kind of have a go and see what we could then extend that all into on Monday. So I hope you will join me. Join me first on this morning. I've yet to be told what time. I think the last time I did it, I was on air at about 20 to 11, something like that. So I don't know if that's like a regular slot that they fill or whether they'll move me around. I don't know, but I'll put it on my Instagram anyway. I will put it certainly on my stories. So if you want to tune into that. But otherwise, please join me again here on Monday. And as always, we will save these chats. We will post them onto YouTube. So a quick hi to YouTube if you are watching me. Thank you very much for sharing your space with me. And it's lovely to connect. And I don't want to go actually, because I can just see all these lovely messages coming in and everybody. Oh, Angela, I received my necklace this morning. It's beautiful. Oh, thank you. Oh, who else is wearing? Julia, I'm wearing my neroli necklace today. Fantastic. Oh, that's so great. I'm so pleased. So pleased. They're all fair trade gold. They're handmade by artisans in Peru, where they hand mine the gold. It's all fair trade gold. And there's been a lot of chat about can we do them in white. The problem with fair trade silver, I do use fair trade silver. It's used as the base for the gold vermeil. But the thing is, it's as expensive, crazy, it's as expensive as the fair trade gold. So it would make the silver really expensive. And I just think people, maybe I'm wrong, but I think people might look at it and go, oh, you're charging that much for, a silver necklace. So I don't know, but if you're interested, then do send a message or a comment, because I might be able to get them dipped perhaps in some way. I know that some of the earrings, my little mangrove hearts, which I love, those are rhodium plated, so it's the precious metal, and that gives them the lovely silver colour. So it may be that we can dip it. Anyway, I'm going to have to stop now, otherwise I'll just sit here and chat for ages. But it's lovely to be with you, and I hope you have a lovely rest of the weekend, and look forward to seeing you on Monday. So loads to do over the weekend. Please dip into Earle Wellbeing. Don't forget the podcast as well, and let me know what you think. Sending you lots of love. Bye-bye.